Now let's get to the one we actually know very well, which
Oh,
is
yes.
Optimus Prime, Generation One. And I want to be specific; it is Generation One, guys. So I just want to make sure so that no one can tell me like, "Oh, but he did this in the Michael Bay movie." I said, "Nope, that has nothing to do with G1." Sorry, guys.
Exactly, yes.
So anyway, quick history about who Optimus Prime is. He used to be a robot known as Orion Pax, and he was just like a regular robot that has a basic job. And one of the things that he always admired, and this is true, believe it or not, he has always admired Megatron. Like
Yes.
he wanted to be just like Megatron. Megatron's been around for millions of years, and he heard about the Decepticons, their abilities and whatnot, and he always wanted to be just like them.
Yes.
And then one time, Megatron went up to Orion and said, can you help me with something? He helped him out, and he realized that Megatron was actually in the wrong for something. He tried to stop him, and pretty much Megatron shot him,
Yes.
and he was actually near death. But luckily, if you watch the old episodes of the Transformers, the Aerobots went back in time. But I don't know if we should include that the Aerobots helped out. But let's just say this: that he was found by Alpha Tron, who was one of the leaders of the Primes, and
Yes.
he rebuilt him into Prime, which made him even stronger, made him faster, and also made him more powerful. And as you saw in the episodes, like he just mowed down many Decepticons with relative ease with his ion cannon.
Yes, he did.
So so that's pretty much a little bit of who Optimus Prime is. And eventually, yes, Optimus Prime became the leader of the Autobots and became one of the best leaders of the Autobots, as a matter of fact.
Yes, yes, he did. Optimus Prime has led the Autobots for millions of years, counting his time during the war on Cybertron and, of course, his time on Earth. So, out of all of the leaders who have led the Autobots, Optimus has the most experience and he's the most well known. Even future leaders who would later take up the mantle of leading the Autobots, none of them even came close to Optimus's level in terms of what he did and how he was able to do it.
Right. So, okay, so let's talk about some of his attributes. As far as speed is concerned, like I said, when it comes to like moving speed, I would say that he's probably not going to be as fast as the Gundam because the Gundam is
No.
pretty fast.
Yes, Optimus, of course, as we all know, what makes him and other Transformers famous, they can take on the vehicle mode of any vehicle in their area. And Optimus's favorite one is a 1979 semi truck, which, combined with his trailer, he can go up to speeds of 80 miles per hour. So, yes, that is not that fast. And if
Right.
anything, it does mean Optimus has more weight to him. So if he were even without his trailer, he is more faster without his trailer. But just remember, guys, that the Gundam is something that can fly, and the Gundam is specifically made for space and ground combat. So he
Right.
does have the mobility advantage against Optimus.
Right. And I know some people are going to say, well, that means Optimus has never been in space or fought in space. Actually, he has. He has fought
Yes.
in space many times.
Yes.
This part is also debatable about his ability to fly. I've always been hearing that Autobots, unless they are aerial bots or the Dinobots, Autobots can't fly in their robot mode. But with Death Battle in their preview, they said that he has some jetpacks, jets on his feet. So I'm gonna say, okay, so he can fly, but with that alone, he can't go into space. But if he had a jetpack, which he has went into space with a jetpack before, he
Yes.
can go into space, and he has fought in space. If you ever played the games of the fall of Cybertron games and the Cybertron fight for war for Cybertron, he has fought in deep space before.
Yes, and he can breathe in space. I just want to make that clear. Optimus
Yes.
is capable of breathing in space, and even if he's on a new planet, he's able to actually adjust to the gravity there. So again, he's got no problems fighting in space. So that's not something that's going to go against him.
Yep. And I know some people are gonna say like, well, what about his strength? He's not gonna be able to lift up. Actually, he can lift up the Gundam if he wanted to. There is a
Yes.
feat where in the show he able to turn over an oil tanker full of stuff on it. And from what
Yes.
I've heard, that's like a lot of weight. That's like more than how many tons again? Do you remember?
I do not, but judging on the size, I would have to say it was probably what, maybe 70 to 100 million tons based on how big that thing was, and especially how wide it was, and the fact that Optimus was able to turn it so effortlessly. Because again, regular construction tools are able to do that, but it's not without any ease. Like, mankind is capable of lifting things, but only with bigger equipment. So that means Optimus has the strength of all of the construction tools on the Earth. So he
Right.
is capable of lifting, let's say, maybe highballing it 200 million tons, which that's a lot. So it doesn't matter how big or small you are. Now, I'm not saying Optimus could lift someone like Devastator, but he is able to lift things on Earth that are heavier to us, but to him, it's not a problem.
Right. And I believe with the Gundam, it doesn't weigh as much as that oil tanker that he turned over.
No, it does not.
So if
And
he were to lift him up from his feet, he can. I'm not saying like he
yes,
can pick him up and like spin him around or anything like that.
no, but
Um,
he is capable. Optimus can lift the Gundam, and one thing I know a lot of people wanted to know, Gundam have for strength feats. As far as I've seen, the Gundam really doesn't have any good strength feats.
right.
So Optimus definitely takes the win in that area.
Right. And we can't really go by like him lifting up something in space because things are weightless in space. So
Exactly.
we can't
Yes.
really use that as like a, oh, this is definitely a feat. You know what I mean?
No.
But we need to look at like say things that they lift in Earth or anything with gravity to determine like, oh, this person has able to lift up this amount of weight. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
not saying that I have the ability to move the Earth, which that takes a lot of more force to move the Earth.
Yes.
But anyway, now on to his durability. Like I know some people are
Oh
gonna
boy.
say about, oh well, the Gundam has survived re-entry of Earth. So has Optimus Prime.
Yes, in
So-
fact, Optimus, to go off of what I said, yes, the Gundam has survived so much damage. It's been able to survive point blank rounds from plasma guns and machine guns. It's been able to take the turns of enemy ships. And yes, it did survive burning up on re entry, but bear in mind, guys, it did not go through, it was going through terminal velocity, but it did not hit the ground. It like in the previous fight, Samurai Jack versus Afro Samurai. I'm sorry, you saw how Jack was able to survive going into orbit as he was knocked down. Whereas with the Gundam, it was not the case. In fact, the only way it was able to survive reentry by burning up was wrapping around a special kind of Gundam film that Amuro wrapped around the whole Gundam, and it was able to protect him from the hot temperatures of burning up on reentry. So he did survive burning up, but he didn't survive the force of entering into Earth's atmosphere.
Right. Whereas Optimus, if you remember from I believe it's the third part of the first episodes of when the Decepticons escaped with the Energon in their battleship, the Nemesis.
Yes.
Optimus Prime didn't want to give up, and that's another thing. He is very tenacious. He doesn't want to give up. He's gonna fight until he dies. You
Yes.
know, so he asked for I forgot which Autobot he asked for, the rocket pack, and he used the rocket pack and went out of orbit to go chase after the Decepticons. And what the Decepticons did to stop him, they used one of their cannons from the battleship, shot Optimus. Optimus got hit, not like a direct hit. He fell, went back into the earth, re-entry, and crashed onto the ground, and he survived.
Yep.
he survived. I'm like,
Yes.
how the hell do you survive something like that?
Exactly, yeah. So if you remember the math for Jack vs. Afro when Jack fell to orbit, Optimus surviving that has to be above 20 megatons of force. So that's way more than the Gundam can survive. And as I just said, the Gundam, it is durable, but it needs special equipment in order to help it even survive that kind of damage. It can't do it naturally. Like the armor is not meant for that, whereas
Right.
Optimus is meant for that.
Right. And another durability feat I want to mention is I don't know if everyone remembers this, but there was a moment in one of the episodes where he played chicken with another tractor trailer transformer who is known as Motor Master, who is a Decepticon, but he was a combiner with the Stunticons. Now, I want to say this, the Stunticons in their vehicle mode, the reason why they're called Stunticons because they do crazy demolition stunts where they pretty much can crash into anything and they walk out unscathed. Like they're not damaged at all. That's because each Stunticon has like a force field that keeps them protected, but they can still ram into things and make destruction. And that's why they're called the Stunticons. So this transformer, the Motor Master, was pretty much a similar vehicle to Optimus. They played
Yes.
chicken. They played chicken with one another, and they collided. And when the smoke and the dust is cleared, Optimus stood unscathed,
Yes.
while Motor Master was broken down.
Yes. That is the case. Yes. As soon as Optimus, and again, that's not underselling it. As soon as Optimus was done and he was the victor, he only had what looked like a minor head injury, but that's it. Like he was fine. Like the rest of him was fine. There was no scratches, there was no scars. He just was fine with only minor injuries. So the fact that he was able to survive that and live to tell about it shows how durable he is on the ground.
Right. And again, Motor Master had a force field.
Yes, and as
And for him to able to go through that force field and cause damage to him, and these Stunticons are known to doing a lot of damage to other things by crashing to many things and not get damaged. For Optimus to do that, that takes a lot of freaking force to be able
yes,
to do that.
yes, it does. So that means if Armoro had a force field around the RX Gundam, Optimus would be able to get through that force field because he's shown he can do it with enough force. Now,
Right.
I don't know if he could do it, say, in his Transformer mode, but maybe in his truck mode, I think he could.
It's possible. Yeah, it's
Yes.
possible with his truck mode. Now, onto his weapons. He has his traditional weapon, actually an iconic weapon known as the ion rifle, which
Yes.
all primes usually have this, from what I've heard. And for what I've heard, that it's actually in terms of firepower, it's on par to Megatron's fusion cannon.
Yes, which if hardcore Transformers fans know, Megatron's fusion cannon is no joke.
No, like it can destroy a mountain.
Yes, it
Destroy a
can.
mountain if it with in full power. And Optimus Prime's ion rifle can do pretty much similar to that, but we all know about Optimus. He holds back
Yes,
uh,
he does.
those things. He also has an energon axe that comes
Yes.
out of his arm. Now, it's said that it has the ability to cut through almost anything. I haven't really seen much of that. I know it can cut through other Cybertronian metals, but as
Yes.
far as like say can cut through any material, there's no real evidence to that, to be honest
N-
with you.
no,
But
as far as we know.
as far as we know, but he does have that weapon handy, so that would be good. Like, say if they're doing like a beam saber versus an energon axe, you know what I mean? So that'll be.
Yes.
As for the trailer is also like a battle station where he can shoot other cannons and stuff from his trailer. And he also has Roller, which is
Mm-hmm.
another component of Optimus Prime, which is sort of like a scout. It scouts for him. and pretty much whatever Roller sees, Optimus can see. But I don't know how he could use that in battle against the Gundam, to be honest with
Yes,
you.
and as we've somewhat seen in the footage for this episode, it doesn't look like he'll have his trailer. It just looks like he'll have his basic truck mode.
Right. Now, one of the biggest things to mention is that he also has a battle suit as well from his trailer, which helps him become a little bit bigger, at least about 30 feet taller,
Yes.
about 30 feet taller. So he'll be able to have somewhat of an edge, not really much, like somewhat of a chance against the Gundam in terms of height and weight. But for what I've seen from the preview, it looks like they're on the same size. So I don't know how that's gonna work.
I'm not sure either. If I'm correct, I think they're just going to go with the same size measuring that they did in Megazord versus Voltron. So even though it should be there should be a huge difference in size between the Gundam and Optimus, I guess now they're just going to have them on even grounds.
Right. So, with that being said, he has that armor as well from his trailer as well, which I think it was featured in the IDW publishing comic books, I believe, or maybe the Marvel comics. I don't remember where, but he does have that armor, and it said that he even used that in the black hole, and he survived the black hole and got out of the black hole with it too.
Yes, yes, it does. Yes, he does.
All right, and also let's not forget the most powerful artifact that he has, which is the
Yes.
Matrix of Leadership.
Yes, and before we go on about that, I know a lot of people, most people who didn't see the preview, are going to be wondering, wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Are they going to include it, and is it safe to use it? Death Battle has confirmed, yes, they will be giving Optimus the Matrix of Leadership. However, it's probably not going to be to the capacity you think, so don't worry there.
Well, we do say that the artifact of the Matrix of Leadership is strong enough to destroy a planet-sized transformer, and I'm talking about
Yes.
Unicron. And it said that Unicron is like the size of Saturn, and that's
Yes.
huge. And if you remember from the Transformers movie, the first Transformers movie, the animated one. Yes, it was by Rodimus Prime who opened the Matrix, but the fact is that was the Matrix itself
Yes.
that destroyed Unicron,
Yes.
and that could play into his favor. But from what I remember, the Matrix doesn't destroy anyone that is pure of heart.
Yes, that is true. And
You know,
Armoro is pure of heart, so I don't think we're going to be seeing the Matrix destroy the Gundam. I mean, don't get me wrong, it can destroy the Gundam because the Gundam is durable, but it can't survive something of that kind of power scale.
right.
It's literally going to fry him.
Right. So I don't know. It might destroy the Gundam, but probably not Armoro.
Yes, that's
Because
possible.
but the other thing I also found out is that the Matrix can control other machines as well. Not other transformers, but other basic machines. And
This
even
is true.
give these machines life from what I've heard. So it might play into his favor where he'd be able to get control of the Gundam with that one.
Yes, yes, that is true. And not only does the Matrix of Leadership have offensive capabilities, it also has defensive capabilities as well. The Matrix can sort of act as a healing factor for those who possess it. So, of course, Optimus, who has possessed it the longest, it has given him a natural healing factor to most injuries. And it's one of the many reasons why Optimus is still kicking. Now, another fact that I've heard, but I've never heard confirmed, is that the Matrix can decide on whether or not it's time to find a new bearer to possess the Matrix. So it will leave its current bearer to die. So I don't know if that's true or not. This is just from what I know. So, but this doesn't mean that the Matrix is just going to leave Optimus in this fight and go to Armoro, because one, Armoro can't actually use it, and it
No.
wouldn't be able to. It's not usable to him. So
Right.
that was not going to factor in at all.
Right. So, and like I said, like Optimus Prime has died before.
Yes,
So,
that's an understatement. Optimus has been in death's door so many times you can literally name a shot game after him. Like, he has gone up against a lot of situations. He's died, but he always comes back.
Right. He always finds a way, or they find a way to resurrect him and come back. But
This
he
is true,
has
yes.
died. He has died in the past, so we can't say that he's immune to death. He has died
No.
before. As for the Gundam, it has been destroyed, from what I've
Y-
heard. It
yes,
has been destroyed, so it is.
yeah,
There is room for. There is room where both can be destroyed. You know what I
this is
mean?
true, yes.
So, and also a big, huge game changer, in my opinion, for Optimus is his experience. He has
Yes.
millions and millions and millions of years of fight experience, not to mention with the matrix of leadership, which is connected to the past leaders of the Autobots. All that knowledge from that matrix goes into him. And this is a proof on how powerful this matrix is when it comes to knowledge. If you guys remember in the future seasons of Transformers, when Optimus Prime got resurrected for the second time, and they asked for his plan for how we're going to combat this virus that's making people violent, he said, I have no plan right now. Because without the Matrix, at least I can't tap into the wisdom of the elders of the primes. So with that Matrix, it also gives them a lot of knowledge, wisdom, and also battle techniques and tactics and everything. And that we're
Y-
talking about millions and millions of years of experience right here.
yes, this is definitely a game changer. And I know a lot of people are going to say, and yes, to Armoro's credit, not to discount Armoro or anything, yes, he does have experience. He has come up with his own battle tactics, but guys, it doesn't matter if Armoro is a child, it doesn't matter if he's an adult. The point is that no matter who pilots the Gundam, Optimus has a hands down unbeatable advantage when it comes to his wisdom, his combat techniques, and just overall his ingenuity, because these three things are a huge factor for him. So even if we were to discount him having the strength advantage, the speed advantage, and the durability advantage, what matters is that he knows how to beat you because he can draw upon the wisdom of the past primes within the Matrix. So there really is no way Armoro can combat something like that.
Right. So with that being said, let's go with our main prediction, who we think is going to win. In my opinion, I think Optimus Prime has this.
Yeah, no, this is gonna probably not shock a lot of people, especially since I'm representing the Gundam and Armoro. I am hands down gonna go with Prime as well. Now, bear in mind, this is not there is a little bit of bias in them, a bias there. I will not lie. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've seen almost 20 episodes of the old Gundam show, and I gotta say to you guys, I definitely prefer Generation 1 Transformers because it's actually able to be somewhat more charming and cheesy than this original Gundam show. But even if I'm not taking bias into account here, all of the advantages we've said and we've listed and we've just pointed out, Armoro barely stands a chance. Like, okay, Armoro does, like Optimus, Armoro has determination. He will not give up. He is brash, he's naive, and he will continue to fight no matter the cost. So,
Heck, I even seen a clip where Amuro was still fighting, where the head of the Gundam was cut off and there was one arm, and he was still fighting.
yes, exactly. So, no matter what he goes up against, Armoro is either going to continue until he dies. So, with that mentality factoring in, it doesn't really work in his advantage, unlike Optimus, because again, Optimus has been through millions and millions of years of combat, and every time he's fought an enemy, he's always able to devise a strategy either by long-term terms or just by on the spot. Even if his plans don't go the way they don't go, he can improvise on the spot, and that is dangerous. Like,
Yes.
again, Armoro is a good fighter, but his even more experienced fighters that he's gone up against, like Shao and others, they have pretty much told him point blank that he does have good power, but he's predictable. So that is a huge problem. And
Right.
it's
And even with the learning computer that the
yes,
Gundam has, yes, it may learn about a new strategy to go against Optimus, but then again, Optimus also thinks a few steps ahead as well.
yes. So even if hypothetically the Gundam was able to figure out what Optimus is doing in his fight pattern, Optimus can change things up, and that's something that neither the learning system or Armoro can handle because they've never experienced anyone like that. And again, Armoro has even stated if it wasn't for the learning system, he would have been toast a long time ago. So it's the learning system within the Gundam itself that has saved Armoro more times than even I can count. So with
Right.
all of that being said, Armoro is going to put up a good fight. No, don't get me wrong. Armoro will put up a good fight. I can see many arguments pointing to him even possibly landing a huge critical hit on Optimus. But in terms of Armoro being able to go in for the kill, Optimus has faced up against opponents like Galvatron, Megatron, and so many others. And
Not to
most of
mention combiners like,
yes,
Devastator, Menasor, which is the Decepticons combiners,
yes,
Bruticus from the Combaticons, like
yes,
you have to think
all
about those things well.
yes, and all of those enemies he's fought and put Armoro to shame. Like they're on a whole other level. So that being said, I believe Armoro's going to put up a good fight. He will put up a valiant fight, but in the end, only one will stand and one will fall, and
I
that's
how I
Optimus.
knew you were gonna put that in there. But yeah, and also another thing is about Armoro's armaments. It has limited ammo. You know what I mean?
Yes, it
So
does,
it
whereas Optimus doesn't.
yeah, from what I've heard, it doesn't, but he does run on energon, so he can use up his energon. But as far as his guns is concerned, like it's never shown that it ran out of ammo or anything like that.
No, and Armoros has, like, again, guys, like, the only weapon that's really going to be able to maybe challenge Optimus is the beam saber, but even then Optimus has fought in people with that type of technology. So once again, Armoro does he can stand up to Optimus, but again, his reckless determination, it's only going to pull on the inevitable. Like that's
Right.
literally all he can do is just maybe off balance Optimus and nothing more.
Right. I'm gonna say that it's not a stomp for either of them. It's not a stomp for
No,
either
it's
of them.
not.
Even though Armoro's Gundam is taller and bigger than Optimus, it's still not gonna be a stomp at
No,
all.
it's not. And again, as we've gone over each advantage for each combatant, both of them are very similar. But again, when you line it all together, Armoro is just barely able to take on Optimus, and I say
Right.
barely in huge quotation marks because, again, if this was another Gundam, then I would say it's even possible for that Gundam to defeat Optimus. But this is the very first Gundam, and this Gundam has limits, and it has limited ammunition. And the overall way I can describe Armoro and his Gundam, it's limited. That's it.
Right. So we can say that Armoro's Gundam has the size advantage. We also said that he has probably have the speed advantage, also the reaction time advantage.
Yes.
But everything else, we have to give it to Optimus.
Yes. These points for Armoro are a big deal for him. But again, Optimus, like, once you factor his strength, his durability, his intelligence, his wisdom, like, all Armoro's advantages can do is just hope to push him back and nothing more.
Right. All right. So yeah, so that's pretty much our prediction. We believe that Optimus Prime is going to win this against the original Gundam. But of course, we could be wrong, and there
Yes,
might have been
absolutely.
things that we might have missed. So that's where you guys come in. If there are things we missed out, feel free to leave those thoughts and comments down below. And if you agree or disagree with us, we'll gotta discuss and debate about it, guys. And if you're new to Richard Core Kenobi's new channel, the Jedi Bender, please go and subscribe to him and please show him some love and support, guys.
Yes, thank you all. This was a great time. Enjoyed being back here, and I can't wait to see where the future of my new channel goes.
Yes. So yeah, guys. So again, we thank you for listening to us in this long video, and let's see what Death Battle has in store for this battle between Optimus and the original Gundam.
Yep.
All right. So this is Do a Dreamer, and I'm gonna say always dream big.
This is the Jedi Bender saying, "Be air, my friends."
See you guys.
Bye, guys.